Hello, I'm Andy Hodges, and I'm here sitting in Livingstone with the outgoing ICSOE Chair, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Trade and Entrepreneurship, Republic of Botswana, Ms. Seipati Grace Olweny. Ms. Seipati, thank you so much for talking to me, most appreciated. Now, Ms. Seipati, you gave a welcome speech, an opening speech this morning, today, giving us remarks, and one of the major issues that you focused on at the beginning of your speech was the climate crisis facing Southern Africa and the huge effects that it's having, and how that is one of the major challenges facing the region. Maybe you could expand a bit on that.
The climate change and the effects that we feel in Southern Africa, it's very real. And there are a lot of similarities within the countries. Most of us in Southern Africa, we depend on arable farming, and even after, looking after livestock. And with the current scenario, or the current situation, we realize that we are unable to continue with our daily lives. There's no rain. If there's no rain, you can't go out to plow. If there's no rain, the livestock that we have suffers. Besides just the livestock in our homes, we also see what is happening with the wild animals, which now even tend to move to the homesteads looking for water. Some even go to the extent of even damaging the infrastructure, the water pipes, in order to get the water, which then puts that burden back to the governments.
How do you see that drought proofing, that climate proofing, playing a part in terms of impacting or challenging or trying to get rid of climate action, taking climate action?
We are gathered here to talk about these things so that we find solutions for the region. We come up with ways of coming up with projects, with ways of ensuring that much as there's drought, there are typhoons or whatever, ways of ensuring that life goes on.
You asked you asked a direct question to the delegates, to the experts. You said, what actions is the region going to take to mitigate the impacts of climate change? You were almost posing a challenge to the experts, obviously following from the work you've been doing over the past year and a few years under UNECA, and also obviously the work that will be happening going forward. Do you have any clear recommendations or ideas about what actions the region should take to mitigate climate change?
Yes, in that regard, we will also have to look at the policies and the laws that we have in the region to ensure that now we ensure that they align to what is going on presently. We shouldn't just be stuck onto the old ways.
How about this issue of integrating Southern African government's policies, whether they be energy policy frameworks or just general policies in terms of investment? Because people who are coming in to invest, they're investors. They're coming in to invest in solar, and they're coming in to invest in power. They're still investors, even though there is an energy policy. Do you think that Southern African countries have collaborated, or they can do more in collaborating and harmonizing? You mentioned this. You talked about holistic approach. You talked about integrated.
Yes, it is important that we integrate, because we depend on each other. For instance, take the example of maybe the rivers that we have. If we are to generate power from water, we need to be working together because we have that common need, the water from the rivers that we share.
If you take the Zambezi, it goes to Zambia, Zimbabwe, all the way to Mozambique. So it's important that we integrate our policies holistically to use those resources effectively and to the betterment of our people. Let's talk about, finally, acting PS, let's talk about the issue which I think is what I may call the elephant in the room, is that as much as we can put in place integrated holistic policies, we still need the money to finance them and to build them. And I believe that one of the issues that will be discussed at this conference as well is, where do we get the money from? I'm sure issues such as climate financing may come in, green climate credits and so forth may come in. So I suppose, in your view, what can the Southern African nations do to mobilize resources to actually put into this transition from fossil to just a clean energy transition?
Yeah, I think in this regard, we also have to leverage on, there are some institutions that are currently financing green energy. We also need to ensure that we do that and ask for assistance financially, for technical know-how and all that. And it is important that we do that maybe as a block, so that whatever we come up with is able to help us as a region.
Because it appears as if sometimes different countries they're pursuing their own interests, but they're not working together. So it's almost in a way you're competing for energy financing, for climate financing, when actually, if we treat it as a block, we should be able to benefit everybody in Southern Africa. Mrs. Olweny, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Trade and Entrepreneurship, Republic of Botswana, thank you so much for talking to me. Most appreciated.